We're going to have Ton stand up, give you an update on where we're at with, some of how the flooding is affecting, some of our sewer systems, especially as you know. We've been having some major issues, with, sewer spilling out because of the flooding and backing up into the Lake Carolyn area. Several of you have contacted me relative to communications, that the city has done, for the residents. We are being very proactive, with our communication efforts, trying to get the information out there as quickly as we have it. And what you have in front of you is a packet that Susan put together that over the last week and a half, 2 weeks that we've been working on this issue. You can see the number of different things that we have done as a city to try and get the word out to our residents, from ICTN to the websites to going door to door and, passing out flyers and making sure we're putting signs up, et cetera. Another effort we're doing this week is we are sending out a letter. I sent an email out to you as a council a couple of days ago, with a draft copy of that letter, as well as where that is going to be going out to and the boundaries. It's about 3,500 households, just continuing to directly provide even, more updates to them, in a very direct manner, just so they know and understand. Most of that is going to be in the, the Las Colinas area. The city is very well coordinated and communicated with the Las Colinas Association, as well as with DCRD, in trying to manage these issues. And so just want to make sure you knew, and have a good understanding of what we've been, trying to do as a city to help keep our residents, fully informed of the issue. So with that, Todd, if you want to give us an update on where we're at and how the, the temporary bypass is working and, what you see coming up down the road.
Just a little bit of history with all the rain we've had and the flooding on the Elm Fork. Essentially what it's done is we have lower part of a section of our sewer system that runs along the Elm Fork, as well as a system that we discharge into the Trinity River Authority system. And they've both been covered with water, inundated with water, and when that happens, the floodwaters have a way of finding their way into the sewer system and filling the sewer pipes up and manholes, and so the system starts to clog up and literally back up, and it's been backing up into Irving. The impact of that is when it does that, it creates a lot of extra pressure on the system that's not really designed for that, and so weak spots start to show up, and you'll have areas that'll come apart, and that's essentially what happened to us up near Lake Carolyn. Is the increased pressure from the flooding has torn up part of our system up there. We have had a contractor we've been working with, actually two contractors for about 2 weeks. One of them working on the bypass system and will be working on the repair. I've had to do a lot of work just to build the bypass system. It's a project in itself. We've had several manholes we've had to build, a lot of piping and pumps. If you drive up there, you'll see a lot of stuff up next to the road. But that system is just about finished. The plan is that once that is in place, we'll have to do some testing. We're not really sure how it's going to work, especially if the river comes back up. It may delay us because the downstream conditions, the downstream levels of the lake or the river actually impact how well our sewer system works. And so once it's finished, we'll be doing some testing to see how that works. And what we're trying to do is bypass the sewage flow around the damaged section and put it back in the system downstream so that it can flow on downstream. And so we take all the flow off the damaged area so we can get in there and make the repair. So that the bypass system, as I mentioned, is underway. It does have a lot of challenges with it just because of the downstream conditions. And we'll just have to wait and see how things work with the river these next couple of days. We've also had an environmental contractor that's been out there from day one, helping us with aerating. It's literally injecting air into the lake to try to maintain the dissolved oxygen levels in there. That's for the fish and to help as part of the natural healing process of the lake. When you get all that organic material in there, it helps break it down and helps actually start the cleaning process of the lake. So that's been another effort we've had with another contractor to help us with the ongoing impacts and mitigation. And then as far as the improvements that we've seen, we have seen some things the last couple of days that have been encouraging. With the aeration, with some of the flushing that DCRD's been able to do through the lake, as well as the lower temperatures have helped, but we've seen the dissolved oxygen levels go up, and so we've seen some improvements, at least in some of the parameters of the water quality. We also have been out there, we're out there a couple of nights ago, all night, trying a temporary repair to try to reduce the overflow, and we had some success with that, but it's not hasn't completely eliminated the overflow, but it has significantly reduced that, and we've been able to essentially put a structure over the damage and concrete that in place. And we'll see how it works with the storm and the increased pressures and all these next couple of days. But right now it is holding, but there is still some sewage that's getting into the lake. We've been working with the TCQ throughout the process. They're very informed. I had a conference call with them yesterday. They're monitoring lots of different situations like this across the Metroplex. We're not the only ones dealing with sewer issues. There are lots of cities that are dealing with similar issues just because of all the flooding and all the flow in the system. To complete the repair, to make the final repair, we are going to have to get the bypass system working. And like I said, we should be able to test that here in the next couple of days. But the key thing is going to be the river level and how that impacts our ability to put the flow back in downstream so that we can bypass and make that repair. But we are continuing to work on it daily, and we'll continue to push to get through. My only fear now is that with all the rain and the additional surcharging is we may have some other issues that pop up. And we've had a number of issues. There's actually one on the agenda today for another repair that we had in South Irving a couple of weeks ago. Similar type situation, but a much easier repair to get in and make. We had to do some bypass pumping and hired a contractor to do an emergency repair. And that one went very quick, and we were able to get in and get out in about a week's time. But this one is much more challenging due to the ongoing flooding in the river. I would like to say, and I don't know if Jackie Knox is here, but his team has been great. D-Kurt has been great to work with throughout this process. We've worked with them daily on testing and sampling, and also with the Trinity River Authority. We've had crews out on the lake cleaning up. They've had crews out on the lake cleaning up, also around the lake. And so I just wanted to say thanks to them for all their help and efforts to help mitigate the impacts of the overflow and the continued work that both of our staffs have been able to do to minimize the impacts up to this point. But with that, I know I've said a lot of things, but I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Oscar.
It's not a question, but I attended the DCURD meeting this morning, and I'd like to throw out a compliment to the city of Irving. Jackie Knox complimented the city staff working with him together. In fact, he gave a fish report. He had how many pounds of fish they took to the solid waste. But no, he complimented you. You're working together as a team, and I think that's great for the city and the DCURD to work together to try to alleviate this problem. So I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, we've been in contact with them hourly some days, so they've been very good to work with.
I was out there all day, all weekend, and walked Lake Carolyn, and I was taking pictures. I was looking, and I didn't see any dead fish. I didn't. The smell that I kept hearing complaints about was gone. Now over by La Villita, went over to that lake. The lake looked okay. Obviously, the water levels are high, but there was still an odor issue that's going on over there. So whatever we can do, and I know we're all kind of focused on Lake Carolyn, but I know that there's a lot of people over live in La Villita as well.
And I know other cities, other entities have had issues with overflows up and down the Elm Fork, so that could be some other cities that are dealing with that too. But certainly we'll go check out that lake as well and make sure we don't have any problems up there.
Now, Chris, I know that these are news releases that we're sending out, and I know we're going door to door to the affected houses because I was here for a brief moment when we had the emergency management meeting, and to the houses that were going to be affected by potentially having to have them leave. But what are we doing to people that are being affected by smell, not emergency situations, but other than just sending out news releases? Or how are we sending out the news releases? Are we just posting them, or do they have to be on our feed?
No, we actually, and Susan, I'm not sure.
Susan's right behind you. She's coming up.
Susan, you want to walk us through how we've gotten those news releases out and who we've gotten them out to?
In your packet, you've got the news releases, and those are sent out to the news media, but we also have the information on our website. Okay. It's front and center. Up at the top of the website today is the issue about the flooding, potential flooding. We've also we posted the safety information on the website. We also created an FAQ that's towards the bottom on that same section. It has its own section. It's on the front page, and it's in the carousel in the middle of our website, so it's very visible to see. We also made signs to go along the promenade We wanted people to make sure to stay out of the water. The flyers went out to the homes. We worked with the media to answer their questions. We've also sent information out social media. And our e-newsletter that goes out each Wednesday, it'll be coming out this afternoon. That's the best way to stay informed. And I encourage any of our residents, please go to our website, cityofirving.org, and sign up for the e-notifications. Not only can you get those via email, but you can also receive text messages. We're such a mobile society now. That's the best way to stay informed. We have the responsive design on our website, which allows residents to stay informed with their phone.
Perfect. Do you know if Las Colinas Association has sent out any notifications to the
We've
residents?
been very well connected with Las Colinas. Are you familiar with any additional notifications other than what the city has sent out, that Rick and his crews have sent out?
I do not. We've been in touch again with Rick and Catherine, and as we update our information, we feed them our information.
Perfect. All right.
But they've been very helpful, giving us, the apartment managers, phone
Okay.
numbers, et cetera, contact information, and being very, very proactive with us. to
Have
get
we
that
been
information.
sending the apartment managers the news releases directly as well? So maybe they could get that out to their
I
residents.
will double check with Teresa on that. I know that the letter that went out yesterday and today to the residents near Lake Carolyn and then also in the La Vita area, that will also, it just went in the mail yesterday and this morning, that'll be sent out. I was planning to connect with Teresa Adrian. She has a master email list to the apartment managers out there.
Perfect.
So that's on my to-do list.
All right. Thank you very much, Susan.
Other questions?
Brad?
I was just going to add a comment. I think whether it was good news or bad news, I think we've been out in front of it and very transparent and cooperative, maybe, especially comparatively speaking. But anyway, I appreciate it and got a lot of good feedback from residents. The overwhelming majority, in my opinion, are appreciative of the city's efforts. So, and it's been quick. So.
I appreciate that. And I think as Todd said, one of the current challenges that we have is, Bill is not helping out, with our ability to get in there and fix, with final solutions, some of our challenges there. And we've been waiting for the floodwaters to go down. They had been receding, and now they're going back up. And as Casey said very well, we were, 2 weeks well into our next drought, then all of a sudden Bill showed up. And so, we're trying to manage, those issues there. But with that, appreciate Todd, for all your crews and what they've done.